When I started this nomadic activist journey, I never thought I'd end up in a situation like this. So where have I been so far? And where in the world am I going next? My plan was to start the activism part of this journey in July, but you could say it got started in May when I was in Salt Lake City, where I went to this fun rock climbing event with US Senate candidate Caroline Glake. Then I headed over to LA, where I knocked doors for the critical house racing candidate George Whitesides, and do so with some of my Vote Save America friends. Then I headed over to Phoenix, where I joined up with Common Power, where we knocked doors with the Lucha organization. And then I headed down to Atlanta, Georgia for the Voters of Tomorrow Summit, where I got to meet a lot of amazing young people in the space. I also met a bunch of other really cool young people while I was in St. Louis, knocking doors for Cori Bush before her primary election. And suddenly I was invited to the Harris Walls rally in Arizona, where I got to cover it as a content creator, which was like so insane. Then I briefly stopped home in PA before heading over to Chicago for the DNC, which is basically Coachella but for political nerds, which means I had a blast and got to witness history. Which brings me to today, where I'm currently in Michigan, knocking doors for candidates up and down the ballot and registering voters, the suburbs of Detroit. Now my next stop, meeting up with the Common Power crew again up in Lansing, Michigan, where we'll keep knocking doors. So keep following along to see what happens next.